You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show.
We're doing dance. If you guys are just listening to the podcast, you're missing this awesomeness. Anyways, hey, AFTERBUZZ TV, what's going on? Bing is for doing, and tonight we are doing a highly anticipated episode of Beauty and the Beast. Joining me today are...
Hi, I am Paige Sullivan.
Hello, I'm Anik Dufour. And I don't even know if I was so excited to introduce myself. No. I did not. I'm Alikona Bradford. And tonight, we are so sorry. I know we had a lot of Twitter followers tweet us and talk about how we weren't on last week, so we do apologize. But thank you so much for sharing the love and just giving us all of your feedback on everything. It was really, really cool. So, lots of stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. Huge episode. Let's get in it right away. I want to talk about Heather because there was at least a good 800 times where I was like, I want to shoot her. That's how I felt about her. I was angry.
Violence is never the solution.
Sorry. Okay.
I wanted him to shoot her. I just please shoot her.
I mean, I wasn't trying to take it that far, but I definitely wanted to slap her upside the head a few times.
She's annoying. She's just like so annoying. And it's like, I don't know. I'm a sister. I have a younger sister. And if she asks me about my personal life and I don't want to tell her, I just say, no.
You're like, mind your business.
I'm like, sorry. Don't want to talk about it. Like,
yeah.
Bring her over for dinner. Where'd you go to the bar? I'd be like, no.
She was doing way too much. I'm sorry, the entire episode, butt out. She was prying through everything, pushing everything.
Yeah.
And then I feel like she was almost giving Kat a guilt trip, too. Every time Kat was trying to say, you know, he's not really good in crowds and blah, blah. And then she pulled the sister card. Well, you know, aren't siblings supposed to talk? And I just don't want you to lie to me. So, of course, Kat, having a heart, is going to be like, okay.
No, I'd be like, sorry, girl.
I'm moving out. I'm taking my key. Here's your
stuff. First off, when Heather's saying, I'm moving out, first off, don't you not pay rent?
Right.
I'm pretty sure we've said that you don't pay rent to live there. Where are you going to live? Not with Darius.
Right.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah.
But not to be harsh.
Sensitive much?
Yeah, my sensitivity level right now. It's Thursday, people. But seriously, like, everything she did was prying, overreaching. Even the way she treated Vincent, it's kind of like, who are you to question who he is and what he does and why he does it? And the one thing, the going in the bedroom thing, yes, I'd be like, get out of my room. But I wouldn't be like, I don't like you. My first instinct's about you. You met him like 2 days ago when he was kissing Kat. You didn't have any instincts. You didn't have a gut reaction.
Yeah.
You were excited.
Yeah.
What do you mean your first instinct?
Well, I just thought she took it a little bit far. There was a point when she said, I don't feel safe with him around. You're like, come on, really? Because he had his head in your room? His body wasn't even in there. He was just poking in.
Yeah. And, okay, why did she think it's okay to, like, Google search or do whatever in the database for him? You know, we're not doing that for Heather. We're not doing that for any guy she's ever dated. We're not criticizing, you know, Tess for sleeping with her captain. Like, nobody. Why is Kat getting so much
heat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to jump into that interrogation room right away because I was like, come on. Kat had every right to be upset when she was talking about, you show up at my work, you talk to my coworkers, and then you interrogate me? I'm sorry, that's disrespect all the way across the board, especially don't want to pull the little sister, big sister card, but you're my little sister, and how dare you?
I would have kicked her out of the apartment. I'm like, you're gone.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I get where Tess is coming from because, you know, Heather came to her as a concerned sister and saying all these things that seem weird. Or Kat was acting weird, and this guy seems like a red flag. If somebody came to me about one of my best friends, I'd be like, oh, okay, we should talk to her. But Heather should have known better. And Heather also sprung this dinner on them. She sprung Darius coming. I mean, she's just...
doing too much?
Not even just doing too much. She just doesn't care about other people's boundaries. I mean, there's such a thing as personal space and privacy. And Kat is I'm assuming like almost 30-year-old woman in this show. She deserves a little bit of privacy. She deserves to have things be hers and no one else's. Nobody else needs to know what she's doing.
Right. Well, I think also, too, Heather's doing a lot of judgment. Ladies, I'm sure you've all dated somebody and had all your best friends, well, why are you dating him? And he's this and he's that. Well, it sucks to be the guy because, unfortunately, when girls are upset, they vent, and then you only hear the bad side. And so the friends or the sister, whoever, only thinks the bad of them, and they don't even give them the opportunity to be good.
Right, but this is still the thing. It's like, okay, I'm sure Heather has dated bad guys, and yes, Tess is dating a bad guy right now. He's not good to Tess, and it's just a poor relationship. And I keep going back to Tess, but like, why aren't we criticizing her? Why aren't we chastising her? Why isn't she getting any heat? But Kat, for dating a single guy who they just can't find in the database, is a problem.
Right.
Tess isn't perfect, and she acts like she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like she acts like she's not doing anything wrong when you know,
she
she's the
lied.
one who's,
She lies to Joe when he's like, "You didn't tell her, did you?" And she's like, "Oh no, never."
But here's the thing. I think that Tess is a little bit bitter. She's probably A, insecure right now, B, very bitter, and C, very hurt. So if there's somewhere an outlet where she can put her anger towards, because clearly she can't put it towards him because, first of all, their work situation. Second of all, she loves him, and sometimes it's just hard to be a jerk to the person you love, even though they're doing you wrong. So the next closest thing usually is your friends or your family.
And
so Kat does one little thing, she slips up, and then, of course, Tess doesn't probably mean to, like she is concerned, but at the same time, she's also probably letting some extra energy out in that direction as well.
No, I agree. I think when you're frustrated, you take it out on the people who you know won't abandon you.
P.S. Okay, so. All right, Tess, you're that quick to cut Kat off, not be her partner because you think that she is lying to you, hiding stuff, caught her, taking evidence. But you're not that quick to break up with Joe, who's clearly lying probably to you. He's very much lying to his wife, and he's doing all kinds of stuff. So that's okay.
Legal.
That's okay. You're not going to break up with him, and he's hurting you. I don't know how Kat is really, a little hurt, but not the same way a man.
No, but okay, you've worked with Kat for how long? I mean, we don't really know, but we assume it's a long time.
Right.
Instead of being like, I'm putting in for a new partner, why do you say what is going on? Like, I'm sure Kat could have come up with a good reason for tampering with the evidence or something like that. And it's just like, we've all caught our friends doing things they shouldn't do or things that hurt us, but I feel like women are so much easier to forgive a guy than their best friend. You'll hold a grudge against your best friend for a month, not talk to her, not look at her, not speak to her at all, and then something happens and it kind of just goes away. Like with a girlfriend, it's like you don't have to have this big catalyst moment to fix everything. It kind of just does.
Yeah.
But with a guy, it's just like they could be screwing another girl, they could be treating you really poorly, they could be married, and you're just kind of like, okay.
I'll look the other direction.
Or it's like, this time it's like, we worked through this, but next time, it's just like, but a friend does you wrong, and it's like, she's out.
Well, it's like, okay, and Joe's sitting here telling Tess after the wedding. First of all, Tess obviously didn't realize that the wife is going to show up to this big event, and when he tells her, she's hurt, but it's like, I'm going to tell her after. No, you're not. That's just buying you time. And then after Darius is killed, clearly you're not going to have the talk with wifey. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
and I'm sure Tess kind of realizes that in the back of her. She has to.
Well, I think she realized it when she was standing there in the crime scene. I think they're going to have to kind of dissolve.
Yeah. I mean, she gets all pissed off and stuff because, he's with the wife is going. I mean, it's his wife. She can't expect her not to go.
She is the other woman, and she's aware that there's a wife. She's aware that she's in the wrong. So I think Tess has no rights in this situation to say anything to anybody, even to Joe. She can't say, leave your wife.
Right.
Because you chose to be in a relationship with a married man.
Right.
And when he tells you that he's going to leave his wife, you have to believe that he's not. Right. In my opinion. But I really just makes me so mad, this episode. I just feel like there's so many double standards, and I think, it all works out because it's, Kat's the main character. We're rooting for Kat, and everybody's attacking her right now. I'm sure others feel attacked in the show too at some point. JT, I'm sure, has felt like the victim of a lot of things. But it's just like, this episode just made me mad.
Well, speaking of JT, two things about him. A, first of all, have you noticed he's always right when he has his inklings about stuff? Because he had said something in the beginning of the episode and made mention of Evan and came out and interrupted the almost kiss where I was like, no. But that's okay because he had good things to say. As far as I think he's up to something. Haven't heard from him. And Kat, I feel like got a little bit reckless in this episode, and he's just like, no, like something's wrong, something's not right. And also too, jumping ahead, I love his advice that he gave to Vincent at the very end, where Vincent's at the grave talking about his brother and stuff like that, and then just random. He's actually texting or tweeting us right now. I'm so sad. He has an early interview in the morning, but he's like, "You guys are filming right now." I'm like, "Yes, call."
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. We're
14th.
working on it, guys. But I just thought that was really cool, really exciting that he's with us in spirits through my phone. Anyways, back to the show.
He was great. I think moving on from them, you know, like the whole attacking Cat thing and the Heather thing, it was just like, overall, this was an annoying episode. Everything everybody did just annoyed me.
Yes.
And you from the beginning of the episode, you could see everything going wrong. You're like, that's bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's even worse. And you're like,
It's getting worse.
We're like, this is real bad. You know, this episode is just not going in the right direction. I mean, it ended on a note that I was very happy with.
Right.
But most of it was pretty just like
Downhill.
It was frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they have to do episodes like this, you know, to the conflict and cause turmoil within the characters, but it's just hard to sit there as a viewer and be like, oh my gosh.
What was your guys' first impression of Darius? Because I have to be honest with you, I wasn't impressed. And this is no offense to the actor, I didn't feel the chemistry quite between him and Heather. I thought they liked each other, but it wasn't like this earth-shattering connection the way, say, Vincent and Kat had upon the first episode. It was totally different. And for her meaning Heather, for Heather to turn around at the end of the show and say, I really liked him. I'm like, you had 2 dates with him.
I think on that note, though, I mean, she was there when he died.
That's
mean,
true.
She
It's
was
traumatic.
in this huge traumatic, and she was knocked unconscious. She was basically like pistol whipped. I mean, I think it was just an experience. And now that he's gone, she's thinking like, I really did like him. Like I thought he was really nice. And you know, who knows where this could have gone? But now he's dead. You know. And I think it's just for her, it's. She'll never know. And even if she only kind of liked him at first, now that he's dead, it's kind of amplifies all the feelings you ever had for that person. I mean, even if there's a person you hate, you know, and you can't stand and you can't be around, if something bad happens to them, you know, you feel like, you feel sympathy towards them and you feel like you want to like reach out, even if you don't like them at all or like who they are. And I think that's, you know, your emotions just get heightened. And I think this situation caused Heather to just really, I don't know. Like, I just hated how she said, it's just like mom all over again. No, your mom's your mom.
Right. But I mean, I think what it's more so saying is that it's just bringing back feelings of her
death,
mom. Yeah, somebody got murdered. And this time she witnessed it, whereas in the first time around, Kat witnessed it. So in a sense, that is something to bond over. Not that you want to bond over that.
Did you guys hear that line when Vincent says that they met at a bar, outside of a bar, and he looked in her eyes, which is totally true because they did meet outside of a bar when he was saving her from Muirfield.
True.
So that is not a lie.
No.
That was not a lie.
No. Okay. Speaking of lies, though, all right, the scene where Kat is talking to Vincent and they're talking about, he's saying, why can't I just be the ass since I am the mysterious ass, which was kind of a funny line because he was like, I'm a what?
Yeah.
But anyway, and he's like, well, why can't I just be an ass and leave you and not talk to you ever again? Kat's all, because it's a lie. Honey, the whole thing is a lie.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like when you bring him there, everything you guys say is a lie.
Yeah. Right.
What's the difference? The other lie would have saved a lot of people.
Right,
Or a lot of trouble
Yeah.
for both of them. So, I don't know. This was a very, very frustrating episode for me. Like everything about it frustrates I don't know. This episode I can't even put into words because it's just like so much went wrong for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was being hurt in this episode or doing things they shouldn't be doing or judging people when they shouldn't be judged. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I think it makes it worse too, since like I'm not a fan of Heather's, and I know you guys aren't.
Nobody
either.
is.
No.
So
it's
not
like-
nobody. I mean, I'm sure some of you at home are fans of Heather.
I think it made it a lot worse not being a fan of her, seeing her like as
just
annoying
destroying things.
as and destructive as she is. It just kind of just wanted me to like scream and just be like, just get her off.
I
don't
agree.
want to see her.
I wanted this episode to just be over with, but I don't know what you guys at home thought. I mean,
Right.
please go to iTunes. You can rate and comment on our show. You can download our podcast every week. Unfortunately, we weren't here last week, but we are back doing the recap this week for you because this was such a huge episode. So if you have any thoughts, I know a lot of you were tweeting at us. This was a big episode for Beauty and the Beast fans. So tell us your thoughts, like, in the comment section. Do you like Heather? Do you think...
Do you want to slap her?
Do you want to slap her? But do you think her and Tess were in the right or the wrong? I mean, this is something. This is just our opinion, which we're saying. I mean, there are other Beauty and the Beast fans who might think that Kat is, you know, lying and in a bad relationship. I mean,
you know, I'll say this. I think we're so attached to the story and to the characters. That's why it's so easy for us to sit here and get angry, and I'm over here venting and whatever. But really, if you look at the situation and you do put yourself in Heather's shoes as a sister and you are concerned, you probably would have done the same things too. Maybe not in such a persistent way, but you probably would have kind of went along those same footsteps.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I'm the older sister, so I think I see Kat's point of view where it's just like a prying eye, like an overbearing person who's trying to get into your life.
I'm an only child, and
Me
right
too.
now I don't ever want to have any siblings of any kind.
Well, no, seriously. Heather, like, is destroying things, ruining Kat's life, except for, I mean...
She has a big mouth, and at the same time, she's innocently destroying things. So that's the thing.
And
it's
she's not
like
purposely doing it.
She's doing things that normal people do. It's just that in this situation, obviously, it's not normal. Like putting up the pictures when we were watching the episode, and they're talking about the fact that she posted the pictures of Vincent and Kat at the wedding. You're getting angry because you're thinking, you're stupid. Why are you doing that? But in real life, you called it out and you said, hey, she's just posting pictures of the entire wedding, most likely, and that's just a normal thing to do.
It is a normal thing to do. And so I think you're right. I think if we take a step back and look at it without knowing the whole picture, she's not that in the wrong, but she is annoying. And I think, here's my thing, girls. You should never have to pick people. If somebody wants to be in your life, that's fine. I've had many people who I don't like their boyfriends, and I say, I would love to hang out with you. I just don't want to do it when they're around. You know, you're welcome to stay with this person who I don't think is a good fit for you, and I don't think that it's a healthy relationship. That's your choice. That's your life. That's your relationship. But I don't want our friendship affected by it. So, I mean, Heather can say, I don't want Vincent in the house. She can say that.
Right.
And Kat can say, okay. You know, or her and Tess can say, we don't want to hear about the ass. We don't want to hear about what he does to you anymore because you're letting it happen.
Right. You lost the right to vent about it.
You lost, exactly. Yeah. I think those are all nice things. You can't say, choose me or him.
Yeah. It's either me or him, or, you know.
And when you met him one time, they met him one time. Tess hasn't met him.
But that's the thing, you know what, though? But they're basing it all on stories they heard in the past. They're basing it on the event that he picked his ex-girlfriend over Kat, whom they love and adore. So obviously, in their mind, they're thinking, she's worth more than that, and she deserves more than that, how dare you? And so already they're going into it with a judgment.
Yeah, no, I know they are, but I think every girlfriend's been there. I think probably slim to none actually act the way I just recommended. Like, I don't think anybody actually does that the first time around with a friend. But you have to get to a point where you say, you know, I value my relationship with my sister, and she obviously values her relationship with this guy. And it's not fair to choose. It's never fair to choose.
And just respect it.
Yeah, it's just like even when like parents get divorced and parents try and tell you like, it's your father or me, like who do you pick? It's like, you can't put people in that position. It's never fair.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think that's fair, especially when they don't have their mom, and it's like, that's an important relationship to Kat.
Right. I like the part, though, going back into, just because you talked about Heather, in the very beginning of the episode, there was truth. Well, we already knew there was truth, but I liked when she was doing the 20 questions, even though it was a bit much. And Vincent's response to her, as in, well, why did you pick the other girl over my sister? Yeah. And I love that he had a very vulnerable moment and just said, I was an idiot. I was too afraid of the feelings that I had, the intense feelings. I don't have it word for word, but basically
feelings that I
had for your sister. And I was like, wow. I don't know. It was just such an aw moment.
No, it was an aw moment.
Aww.
And so how can she sit there and say, I don't like you at all. I think he's sketchy. I think he's a bad guy. Like, he genuinely seemed likable. Yeah. And even at the dinner table, I thought he was like jovial and kind of nice. Like, I never really...
Okay, first of all, who goes in for the kill right away the first time you meet somebody? Hey, man, where'd you get the scar on your face?
Okay, that's so inappropriate, Darius.
Yeah. You don't know. Like, that could have been a truly traumatic experience. Or he could be extremely self-conscious about it, and it could have taken him a long time to come out of the house.
You never know. Seriously, that's a serious scar, too. I mean, you have to assume whatever gave him that scar was a pretty big event.
Yeah, and traumatic, yeah.
I know. When he said that, I was like, how dare you?
Yeah, like, who are you to say anything?
That's like when women ask other women, like, oh, what do you do? It's like, I'm not do, thank you. It's just like, you can't, those are things, no, but you know what I mean? There's just certain things you never ask somebody. You just don't ask those questions. And where'd you get your scar is one of them. Unless it's like a little baby one on their hand.
Right.
Shaped like
or it looks star. Like a cool, a cool like war wound or something like that. That was not cool.
You want to know how I got these scars?
No, because
ew, that's
we're-
scary.
That was really creepy.
yeah, but that was that. Speaking of, I don't know if you want to go into Darius. Oh my lord.
Oh my lord, he was just a hot mess.
Well, obviously he's not that great of a guy. I mean,
No,
I don't think he's
liar.
a bad guy. I think he's mixed up in the wrong
Yes.
stuff. He's genuinely seemed like a nice guy, but it looked like he was about to shoot her.
I was just gonna say, I would say Anik, what would you do? But we already know she'd pull the trigger. But
Yeah.
if you were Darius, not if you were Anik, what would you do? I mean, it's your life or his, but
Fight
if
back.
yeah, I was gonna
Do
say, you have a
something.
gun in your hand
Yeah,
now.
fight
Try
back.
like whop, 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 whop. I mean, someone's gonna die regardless. At least let it be the bad guy.
Right, especially if you say, quote unquote, you had feelings for her.
I mean, in 2 dates though, really.
I mean, you know how they are.
I think here's the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you've known her for 2 days. I think honestly he was thinking, because the guy said, you know, if she talks, that goes back to you. You're going to jail. You're not the good guy that everybody thought you were, and everybody knows what you've been doing.
And clearly
because of
she's a
her.
talker.
And clearly she's a talker. And the thing is, I think he was valuing like his reputation and who people thought he was over his fondness for Heather.
Right.
But to kill somebody, like, I don't think that's in me. Like, I don't even think if somebody was like, kill her or your life goes down, I'd be like, okay, well, there goes my life.
Right, right.
How do you just kill somebody, especially a girl you just took out on a date?
Right.
You know her sister.
Who came in, P.S., by the way, she didn't come in so you get your butt kicked and be like, bye. She was over here pulling on the guys and that's why she got herself in trouble, trying to help you out.
And you know her sister. Your
Yeah.
brother works with her sister, and
Yeah.
if you were to kill her, I mean, and his finger was about to pull the trigger.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we talked about before as far as kind of having that spoiler of knowing that he was going to be killed. And in my mind, I was really curious how the CW was going to pull this one off because it's not a show that's really grotesque and bloody.
Unless
and
you watch The Cult, which I don't know if you watched that. But
yeah,
that looks screwed up.
Looks a little scary. But anyway,
Sorry.
no. But when you watch it, or excuse me, when I was watching it, I was wondering if it was going to be something where I was going to see a lot of blood, especially because it was a character that we were supposed to be attached to. So in a sense, not that death is tasteful, but they did it in a tasteful way to where it was something simple, quick, snap his back, cool, call it a day. He's a goner.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it was kind of tasteful how they did it. And it's just, we knew it was going to be him, so it wasn't a shock, and we knew that it was about to go down. I did not see Heather being involved. I did not see
No, that
the
was a
gun-
good twist.
Yeah, I didn't see the gun being pointed at her, and I really didn't see him being a bad guy. I didn't see him being mixed up with the wrong
Right.
people. But I mean, clearly he is, and clearly his morals lie elsewhere because he was ready to kill somebody.
Right.
To
I
save
think
himself.
It would have been more of a tragedy if we would have met him sooner. Like if we would have met
Right.
him, you know, like at the beginning of the season, and then like had
Got
the
to know
relationship-
him.
right, and had the relationship develop, and now it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even feel.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even feel a loss right
But
now.
maybe
Right,
that's why they did that
exactly.
on purpose too, so that way we're not torn between him and Vincent, though most beasties won't be torn, but you know what I mean? They're not that attached to him. On top of the fact that he is kind of a bad guy, so we're not as upset about it either. If he was a saint, then we'd be going, oh,
I think we sympathize with Joe, though. We feel like,
Of
you know, I
course.
feel
It's
for
his baby
Joe. It's his brother. And even Vincent says, you know, I've lost a brother. I mean, I would fight. I went into war. I got this DNA shot into my body to fight for my brothers. You know, and I just took his brother, and he's not going to stop fighting until he finds me and kills me. And he even says to Kat, I've lost my brothers. I don't ever want you to lose your sister. So it makes you feel bad for Joe. But in the long run, you know, or not in the long run, in the short run, I guess, because Darius is dead, but like he could have chose to kill Heather. And then
Right.
what would we have been thinking now? I mean,
Right.
those were our two options, lose Darius or lose Heather. And I think as much as we hate Heather,
we don't
I don't wanna-
hate her. We're just a little bit annoyed with her.
I might.
Oh, okay.
I
No,
might too.
I strongly dislike her. My father told me always never to say hate because it's too strong of a word. I don't hate her. I really don't like her though, and I think if her character never came back, I'd be okay
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
It's nothing to the actress. It's just the
Right.
character.
Right.
Like
that just means she's doing a good
Right.
job at her job. That's all
yeah,
that means.
she's annoying us to no end. But I mean, hey, now I guess we're gonna have to see how this goes forward with Joe and the whole team.
Yeah. It's going to turn into something nasty, which we'll talk about that later when we talk about predictions. But let's get into the highlights of the show. I know, forgive my singing. You know, that's
Wait.
why I'm hosting, and that's
Wait.
not why I'm singing.
Before we get to the good part, do we want to talk about Evan?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, let's.
Because if we don't talk about Evan, I don't want to go to the kiss and then go back.
Okay, let's talk about the man with the good accent. Don't mind me. Okay.
What?
Okay, just fired. All right, cool.
Yeah, she's not on the show anymore. So her and Heather can live in unemployed land. I'm kidding. Oh, I'm kidding. Evan, gosh, you're a pain.
Yes, he is. Go away. I get it. Okay, I get it. First of all, when the guy from Murfield walks in, okay, you're a cop. I get it that you're the guy that's in the back room, but he seemed a little startled and a little bit scared. He backed up like, it's not wise. You'd be ill-advised to attack me.
I don't think he's a cop. I don't think he has any training. I don't think he has a gun. I think he's literally just a
morgue
guy, you know? So I think he wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was awkward.
Yeah.
It was awkward.
Any hooser. Going back to just him in general, what do you guys think as far as him choosing to go towards Murfield? Do you understand why he's doing it?
Yes.
Yes. I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but I can see why. I mean, they're basically telling him you do it or you die.
Yeah.
No, because he told him you have options. We don't want you to be involved if you're not in it to win it and you're not.
Yeah, but but I think he knows. I think he is aware. You're bugging my office. You know what I'm doing. You're coming to my workplace to ask me to do these things.
Right.
I think he knows this is a bigger deal than himself.
Yeah, it's just, I think that he was still kind of in between, and the cherry on top of the sundae was just the fact that here goes Darius, and supposedly he's telling Kat in the morgue he's a good guy, and Kat, it sucks to be in her position because she knows so much and she can't say anything.
I know, and it's too bad Heather wasn't awake for it.
Right.
Or, I don't know. I think it's hard because, I mean, what Vincent did sad. I mean, he killed somebody's brother, and he wasn't innocent.
Right.
But he seems to be a good guy to everybody else. I don't blame Evan for doing what he's doing because, I mean, he's being approached by this company. They're kind of scary.
Yeah.
I mean, and also he thinks that this beast is like a predator coming for Kat. Like, he thinks it is following Kat.
Right, because he even told, he said after Kat left that, if you're not going to protect yourself, then I'm going to protect you.
But little
Which
does
is
he know.
admirable.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Like I
Right.
said, we keep getting attached to the Vincent Kat story, so of course we're ready to pounce on anything that gets in their way, but
at the same time, it's like he does not know. Okay, she can't just say, it's not a beast. And I do understand it. It's a human that talks and walks and loves and cares about people just like you and me. It is not an animal. It is not an it.
Yeah.
It is a person that
Right.
was tormented basically into becoming this beast, and this is not his choice, and it's not something you catch.
and at what point do you think she's actually going to say that? Because
I don't think she can. I don't think she can.
But Evan already put two and two together. It's just that his hypothesis, if you will, is a little crooked, but he's noticing the link. Look, this guy was around when this happened. He was around when this, and this happened. This thing is connected to you. So in that sense, he's right.
Does Evan not know about her mother's? Because everybody's always mentioned, like, you obsessed about your mother's case, you thought this was true. Do you think Evan doesn't know about her mother's case? Like, do you think he came in later? Because he didn't mention that. And I was looking for him to say, you saw this beast too.
Maybe he
You
doesn't.
saw a beast.
You're right. I didn't
Yeah.
catch that.
But I feel like in previous episodes when he first saw the beast, she mentioned, like, oh, I thought I saw one once too, but I didn't. And they told me, they.
So then maybe he does know, but maybe it just doesn't get brought up, or maybe it's just not something she does talk about now that she's in the police precinct. Maybe she brought it up back then. She probably filed a report and did all that when that happened the 10 years ago. But as an adult, and as she's talked herself out of thinking that she saw that, she probably didn't bring it up at work.
Yeah. No, I just wondered because, that would be a big clue to Evan that she knows what's going on. And the thing is, yes, his hypothesis is a little off. He thinks it's a predator coming after Kat, whereas he doesn't realize that they have a relationship and she's protecting the beast.
Right.
She's centering her life around the beast, and Evan doesn't need to protect her from the beast.
Right, exactly.
don't know.
But let's talk about the beast. Enough of Evan. I'm over Evan.
The beast.
Let's talk about the moment, the highlight of the whole entire season that everybody's been waiting for, angry for, and everything else for.
Beauty and the Beast highlights.
Ooh, all these added sound effects, guys.
Best show ever. Well, okay. Best last couple minutes of a show ever.
Yes.
Best last couple minutes of a show ever.
So they go in finally. I love the way they wrote. I love the way they worked into the moment. It wasn't. I like that they cut them off a few times at the beginning of the show, because then when it did happen, it was special, and they had a moment to where they could be alone in that romantic scene in the roof with the little dangly lights, and just the moment of confession, like, you are my normal, because they did go through a moment where there was the unofficial, official, let's break up, even though I'm not really in a relationship with you. But
I thought he was going to break up with her. I didn't think a kiss was going to happen when that first started happening, because this is the second time we watched it tonight. Obviously, we watched it last week, and I was like, what? How can he walk away from her after this, and how can she let him? And I honestly thought that's what was going to happen. And then she's going into this whole spiel, and I love you.
You are my normal.
I was like, oh, cat. And then I was really, really, really hoping he didn't shut her down again, because the last time she poured her heart out to him, he was like, I'm going with Alex.
Right. Yeah. No, he wouldn't do that again. And
no, I know, but
if he would do that again, all bets are off.
Yeah, well, I mean, people would be like, snap, we're turning this show off. More hate tweets. Yeah. But you know what, though? I liked the kiss. It was very delicate. It was sweet. It was
sensual.
Yeah, very sensual. Sorry, the raw wasn't, that's next week or when we start back up again. But anyway, it wasn't let me swallow your face. It was nice, and it was...
But it was passionate at the same time.
And I love that he didn't just say I love you back, because sometimes, I don't know, in my opinion, that can be a little generic. I love you too.
Yeah, because I say it to my mom.
But I love that he said, I know it's so silly and so little, but I love that he said, I am so in love with you.
I'm so in love with you.
Gosh, that killed it.
Wow.
Ruined my moment.
That was our engineer, if you guys are wondering.
So if you want him to serenade you and make out with you, hit him up. His name's Steven. Tweet him.
Yeah.
But seriously, really good kiss. Worth waiting, not worth waiting this long for. I have to say, I wish this had happened sooner, but I think it was perfect timing, and I think it made the most sense, because in a moment like this with tragedy and sadness and all these strong emotions happening, I think that's when people come together. You know, she was so scared for her sister that night, and now that she's safe, it's just kind of like she's just letting herself feel what she feels and go for it. And I loved it.
You got little butterflies. So at least I did anyway.
I did, yeah.
It was a nice ending. It was a nice ending before break, because the last time we had an ending before break, of course, it was the leave you on the edge of your seat. He's holding her. Is he going to get caught? Is he not?
She did.
And you're like, ugh. Whereas this, I mean, we know that there's going to be more to come, but it was just a nice ending.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I thought it was perfect. The kiss itself and the moment was perfect. I didn't want more. I didn't want less. I thought it was just the right amount.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
Well, I want to talk about predictions, but before we do that, let's just talk some news and gossip before we call it a day.
TV news.
All right, ladies, do you have anything for me?
No, these people are super squeaky clean, though, you know? Like, it's not like if you were doing like a Real Housewives show, you're like, so-and-so punched so-and-so in the face. Like, this is...
They don't do that.
And they're in Canada.
You know what? I will say this. Somebody left a comment for us.
Oh, I saw this. I read this.
Yes, and I liked it very much, because if you guys are big fans, I'm sure you know that the show has not been renewed yet, and I think it's like on the brink of possible cancellation.
There's a lot of shows that are really up in the air right now for the CW.
And people are so upset about it. To me, it upsets me, because I also do Arrow. It's a great show, but I feel like the storyline along with this, it's a good competitor right up there with it, and for it to be so under...
And Arrow was renewed?
Yes, right away, one of the first 3.
I feel like this show has a bigger following. I don't know.
So did
I did too, but if you guys are big fans and you want to fight for the cause, there's somebody who is really great enough to start their own website, or I'm not really quite sure how it formulated, but I will say this, check it out. It's called TV Republic with a K, and she has got this whole movement going to where they're trying to convince the writers of CW to renew the show, because she just feels like it's kind of gotten an unfair chance, and at least give it a second season.
Yeah, even her explanation, because she kind of goes through the reasons why, like, she didn't really like it at first, and I think me and Alikona, when we were on the show at first, we were kind of like, this isn't what we thought it was, and we talked about it a lot here in the after show, and now it's very much a show we enjoy and love, and have grown to really care about these characters and get invested in this show. So, I mean, check it out, because the information she has on there is pretty good.
Yeah.
Season 2, Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And let's go into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions.
predictions.
So we got to see some highlights of what's coming up next. Clips here and there. Obviously, Joe is going in for the kill. This is personal, he says. So he's out to avenge his brother's death. And then we get to see, and I've already talked about a little bit before my predictions as far as more than the kiss is supposed to happen this season. But there was a flash where it looked like he started to beast out a little bit when they were being intimate.
Yeah, so, okay, so my prediction is that will happen. I think he's going to be able to reel it in, because after he killed all those guys today, he was just like, whoa, he like shook it off, and he was like, I'm human again. And he never used to be able to do that before.
Right.
So whatever may or may have not happened when he had sex in the past may not happen anymore. And he's come out of beast mode for Kat before.
Right.
For love.
But do you think they are really going to like do the business?
I hope so.
Yes. So do I.
Bow, down, down.
I
Yeah.
hope so. But
Thanks
that
for
other
that
than that
porn.
prediction,
You know, I have just a little something that I had read, and it was just talking about Muirfield and the police closing in on Vincent. Obviously, we know that that's going to happen, but apparently, Tess's character finds out something. She gets a tip, and that's going to change her relationship with Kat forever.
forever.
I don't know. It just says I added the forever.
Oh, it's
but
like, so this is like a permanent thing?
no, it just changes their relationship. But I mean, it changes. I don't know.
Who knows if it's for good or worse? I mean,
Yeah, hopefully it is for good.
I hope so, because if not, we're all in a
Yes.
lot of trouble.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to wrap it up for a couple weeks, but we will be back in March as soon as the show airs. Until then, keep the conversation going. Please tweet us. We love it. We enjoy it so much. I had a good time talking to everybody.
Yes.
And then you can also leave comments, YouTube, iTunes, all that good stuff. Follow me at Kiss My Passport, and ladies, take it away.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Sell.
And you can follow me on Twitter at JustAnik and my website, AnikDufour.com.
All right, guys, we will see you later. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.